Let's find out together in game number 2 of BetBoom versus Gaimin Gladiators in the TI11 group stages. GG hoping for a 2-0 sweep here. BetBoom trying to make this a little bit more competitive. I must say though, this game feels like it's going to be very, very kill heavy. The Global Silence is the only like big cooldown ultimate. Everything else is just available. Well, maybe that in the Brewmaster split. So as long as those 2 spells are online, it's going to be go time for both of these squads at pretty much all stages of the game.
Yeah, definitely feels like there's going to be some big fights that are going to happen around a lot of these ultimates, as you already said. Primal Split as well as Global Silence are going to be the 2 key ones we're going to keep our eyes on here. Really just kind of seeing what this 4-man gank squad is going to come out from Gaimin Gladiators, right? Like, we touched on the fact that Boom needs to be the one that is setting the tempo here for Gaimin Gladiators. And, you know, Celery as well as Tofu, they've got great heroes level 1 to be able to fight. So as long as BetBoom does put themselves in bad positions, they are kind of having a little bit of a Mexican standoff here, though.
Okay, they move around each other. Oh no, Dahak, that's the worst possible target, Fluke. They get in with this Primal Breeze. So Neko gonna try and tank the damage instead. Still alive, in fact, not dead just yet. Somehow, some way, Gaimin Gladiators can't coordinate their targeting, so they cannot get the kill on the Silencer. Well, they would have loved the kill on Dahak even better, but okay. The question is, will they at least get additional bounties for their efforts? No, they will not. Just wasting some mana and forcing a little bit of regen usage out of Soneko.
Yeah, so they didn't really get all too much out of that. I think there was a little bit of a disconnect there. Maybe if the onslaught hit on towards Dahak, then they may have gone back in. But Gaimin Gladiators just didn't quite have the damage, especially being kind of pushed off the mark from Lala as well with the shrapnel. So it was good damage, but they need to try and convert this into something else here. The fact that Dahak is going to be in some issues. This, I guess, is the reason why they picked the Panda and the Crystal Maiden lane, right? It's not something that people haven't been abusing all too much, but it has been the Cinder Brew plus a support hero that has a very low cooldown, very high damage kind of spell, and that's where the Crystal Nova is going to do a lot of work for them. They're able to proc the Cinder Brew, they're able to do a lot of damage with the double slows that come in as well. So this lane can start to get pretty scary, especially once Ace gets towards an Urn of Shadows if he wants to build towards that. Look at how much damage they're doing so far. Okay.
Damn, this looks like a fun place to be for Dahak. I'm glad you showed up with a magic stick, my friend, because you're going to be certainly needing it ASAP. My goodness, but that magical damage spam doesn't feel like it's going to go away. Fortunately for the side of Gaimin Gladiators, they have another lane with tons of spam, as they do have this Undying on the top side of the map. Celery drawing some attention here between himself and Roger, but he knows full well that he's under no real threat. Sitting here with the 5 mangoes, enjoying life, can just play heads up into the face of Noticed. And this makes so much space for the Dyraicho Morphling. This early game for Gaimin Gladiators, last time around they were really struggling, but now things are looking better. As bottom, they also find said First Blood, Ace and Tofu. The combination is working, and this was only with level 1 spells here at the Fluke. It only gets harder as time goes on.
Yeah, they just clicked over to level 2 on Ace to be able to secure that kill there with the Thunderclap. So just getting themselves a little bit of extra experience in the lane just makes it oh so hard. And we just see the amount of laning prowess that Gaimin Gladiators wanted to go for, right? They saw in game number 1 that they didn't really have the best lane for Ace and Celery, so they decided this time around, right, Tofu, you're going to be picking up the Crystal Maiden, Celery's going to have the lane dominator and the Undying, and we're just going to secure these side lanes here. Yeah, Boom, you might be a little bit on an island, but you played extremely well in game number 1, and now playing the Primal Beast, you've kind of just got to make these rotations. But speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Boom. Oh, no.
Oh,
Caster's
no.
Curse.
It's fine.
Okay.
That's
Right.
fine. He's fine.
The curse isn't that strong.
You know, that was very problematic though. Lol. Having a pretty good time in this mid lane. To be fair, this is not... Primal Beast wins a lot of these lanes that you don't expect him to do well in, but this is probably one of those where it's like, yeah, mate, Soz, not much you can do. He's going to jump forward with the Onslaught here, force a TP back out. Just tanking too much damage, and he went all the way back to base here, Fluke, so that's going to be quite a lot of time spent away from this lane, and Laurel just going to start dominating from that mid side of things.
Yeah. Lars having a pretty good time right now. He's sitting at the top of the last hits. He's got himself 2 Wraith Bands, forcing Boom to TP back. So this is going to be the big shining light here for BetBoom. They've had their sniper in a really good spot. Also, Notice has been doing relatively well in the top lane as well. 8-1, albeit, it's not the craziest start, but not dying early on. Decelerate doing a good job at just constantly pulling these creeps back, meaning that they at least have some experience in this lane. Roger's getting close to be able to lick towards level 2 here, but this is kind of the power of Undying, right? Like we've seen the amount of Undyings in the last chance qualifiers, and we're going to be seeing a whole boatload of this here, so strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. But this is what he does, right? He just forces you to play these lanes not straight up. It forces you to get these lanes, be able to pull back. You have to do all this weird and wacky stuff just to try and get a bit of this experience. So if you're able to get at least on par, which is what Notice is doing, on par with the carry, then you're doing relatively okay for the offlaner and able to make those rotations once the Dirge racks off and goes somewhere else.
We're also seeing the influence of how that Undying is just ensuring that top lane doesn't go nearly as well for Notice as it did in game number 1. Top lane, speaking of though, Boom. Gonna make a big rotation here. First movement off this mid lane. Comes in, the big jump into the trample. So Onslaught, trample him and kill him. Nice combination coming in from Boom. And this always feels good. Whenever you're getting a bad matchup in the mid lane in particular, being able to rotate, get a quick kill, and come back all before the wave even reaches your tower again, that always feels amazing. And at the very least, he's not going to get completely rolled over by the sniper. Even though he's probably still loses mid, he demonstrates that he can have influence on other parts of the map.
But I think that's the big thing for Boom, right, is the fact that he's playing a kind of tempo setter. So if he's able to get a lot of these extra power runes, if he's able to make sure that his tower doesn't die all too early on, make some rotation, get some kills, he can really start to set the tempo. We saw what Thompson was able to do on this hero for T1. And now I think a lot of these other mid laners are really going to be using him as these kind of tempo setter mid laners where they just kind of constantly rotate around the map, extremely low cooldowns, go in, try and help and win these side lanes for them. So I'm looking to see what Boom does around about that level 5, level 6 mark, 6-minute rune, get the power rune, probably make his way towards bottom because there's already a lot of pressure that's been on Dahak and Soneko in this lane. And if they just make one rotation with the Primal Beast, they get the kill, they can put the pressure on the tower, get ace towards that level 6, and it's going to be very hard for BetBoom to have any control on this bottom side of the map.
Yep. They might wait until they have the 6 active just yet on the Brewmasters, just so they can guarantee the ultimate. For now, though, they're keeping the lane equilibrium in their favor. As we move on towards mid, we have a action rune spawning. Which side is it going to be? It is on the bottom. Boom's going to be able to get it, but now he's onslaughted forward. He has to TP out. He has to leave. This is not great. And unfortunately, this is not even the rune that you want. It's not like he has a haste or an arcane where it's like, you know what, I'll port back to base, but then I can immediately reveal this once I leave into one of the side lanes. Not necessarily the best initiation rune either, so it's going to be kind of rough here. Mid lane, Celery finds himself caught inside some power cogs. Even though he's behind his own tower, that's not going to provide any protection as he loses his life. Soneko, super happy about that one. But he's had a good start on the silencer before, so I'm sure he doesn't want to take this for granted. But there's reinforcements coming in middle, Fluke. Look at this. Onslaught, charged up, Boom, connects it onto Roger, and Tofu made the TP in with the Frostbite. I'm not needed the Frostbite. They could have used it to set up for a kill onto Soneko as well. But Tofu doesn't want to take any chances. Guarantees the kill. Now they can move on and keep the tower safe and ensure that Boom maybe doesn't have to end up getting bounced all the way back to base again.
Yeah, I was going to say, I really like this rotation that came in from BetBoom, understanding that if they put pressure on this Tier 1 tower, they take this Tier 1 tower, Lal doesn't have to worry about the rotations that Boom can make, because this is kind of the trade-off, right, when you have these tempo-setting mid laners, is they'll rotate towards the other side of the map, and as long as they don't lose their Tier 1 tower, they're pretty happy with how most things are going, but the amount of pressure that's coming in towards this mid-Tier 1 and the amount of pressure that's going to be happening in this fight, Soneko's so dead.
Soneko's literally trampled to death. They might not be done just yet. They destroy the tombstone. Roger found himself getting frostbitten. And Boom just has to try and wait around the corner, but they can't close the gap for the pulverize. So Roger will be allowed to escape. Diracho didn't really want to curtail his farm speed just to try and deal with the lowly clockwork. Creeps are more important. But ultimately, that's still pretty good, right? T1 being kept in a pretty good spot. Notice now just get forced away from the top lane. So they can't play as safely as they were a moment ago, and they draw multiple responses. Feels like Gaimin Gladiators are stretching Boom all across the map this way and that. And to make matters even worse, look what's happening on the side lanes. Brewmaster and Morphling quietly and cozily accruing net worth without being bothered by anybody.
Yeah, this is
And,
definitely a really good start here, and especially with the problems.
Boom must have
Oh no.
Yeah. He's got this. Onslaught comes in as well. Boom ensures it. And you know, you were wondering about them being able to move bottom, make sure that they get this kill, maybe even activate the primal split. Well, it's even nicer if it comes towards you.
Yeah. Yeah, just, I mean, the way Gaimin Gladiators are playing this morning, I definitely feel like they've had their wheat picks. So they're feeling good about this right now. They're feeling good about how their TI group stages are starting. 2K ahead. They're just making really good rotations. They're getting a lot out of the map as well. They haven't lost all too much. Yeah, they lost a bit of HP on their T1 tower. And in the next catapult wave, it's probably going to be going down. But you're perfectly happy with how this is going. Duracio's having a good game. Ace is having an immaculate game. He is the highest net worth right now. It's going to be ever close to his first item, whatever that may be. He's got the early Vladimir's offering. I imagine it's going to be in a very, very early Wraith Pact. And they're just going to be able to group together. They lose this T1 tower, they're able to take the T1 top, take the T1 mid, take control of this triangle, get themselves towards an early Roshan for Duraccio as well once he gets past, you know, this kind of Yasha timing. And it's just a good old start here for Gaimin Gladiators. Boom's had a really good shout so far on the Primal Beast. He's now getting himself towards his phase boots, and once he builds up towards that BKB, he's going to be ever so hard to deal with. And Gaimin Gladiators, everything's starting to fall into place here, and you can see the bit of pressure that comes in that BetBoom need to try and get this T1 tower. They're committing everything.
Trying for it with the initiation, but they miss out on the quick kill onto Tofu. They do manage to take the tower. Tofu healed up with the Soul Rip. Celery does end up dying eventually thanks to the Dahak axes raining in. But yet again, every single time we've seen BetBoom make these kind of moves, it requires like a full response from most of the squad to be available. They do get the T1 tower though, which is the important objective. Gaimin Gladiators were not willing to commit all their numbers to defend it because they have a farm on their mind right now for the Morphling and the Brewmaster. Even for Boom as well. I think he doesn't want to really show himself on the map too much until he finishes off having this BKB available.
Yeah, I think Boom is definitely just going to be trying to find some of those initiations if people are a little bit too far out. Maybe they're going to put a little bit of extra pressure towards this bottom T1 so they can start playing in towards this jungle side as well. You can see Celery's already starting to set up with it. With the vision, Tofu's here as well. Ace is permanently going to have the threat of the primal split as well. So they're going to put a lot of pressure on this T1 tower while Duraccio is constantly just hitting creeps towards this top side and holding this T1 tower or Soniqs.
Damn.
Snake, no.
That combo that you mentioned, the Cinder Brew with the Crystal Nova, it's a problem. It's even more problematic now than it was earlier on, but gets them a kill. It's gonna net them the tower as well. Unfortunately, no trade can happen from BetBoom because Duraccio a little bit too strong on the Morphling right now to be muscled off of this top lane unless you commit several heroes, and several means 4 as usual. And what build are we going for this game on this Morphling actually? We know that Notice most likely is going to go for the usual route on this Pango. But for the Morph, what are we expecting? He's already queued up the Yasha, Manta's coming soon. There is a global silence, so you can't avoid buying the Manta style. But after that, where do you want to see him go?
I definitely feel like he can just go like things like Manta, and then he can go into the Lincoln Sphere if he feels like he really needs to keep himself safe from the Primal Roar. I wouldn't hate to see, you know, something like a Hurricane Pike to be able to get himself away from the Clockwork as well if he does ever get globaled. So I think he can just go for a very straightforward build. But speaking of Duraccio, they're making the go here. Oh, they got the roar.
He's being gone on. All the spells committed, but that means that there's no spells remaining if GG can connect in for some revenge here. They've only managed to find the Cyclone out onto Roger, so there's no other way to catch up to Dahak and them. But Dahak and them aren't leaving. They're bringing in Lord instead. They want to try and fight this as soon as the Primal Split is over, and it has ended now from Ace. He's trapped inside the Power Cogs. Ace is gone. Onslaught will emerge coming in from Boom. Notice will get some coverage thanks to Soneko dropping down the global silence, and now Boom suddenly in a very awkward position, dies deep inside his own jungle. These respawns are coming though. Duraccio back in the fray, looking for a waveform adaptive strike to bring somebody down. We'll be able to find the strike onto the Pango, but can't get the kill. And now he's already committed the full wave forward, so he can't leave anymore. They've lost Celery. Duraccio falling lower and lower. He has gotten off the strength morph waveform onto the high ground, bringing down Soneko in the process. And they will be able to get that one kill back in return for themselves, but it has not come very cheap. Gaimin Gladiators also almost died to that rocket flare. Okay. Yeah. 2 for 2 in the top lane. So 1 support with a core for 2 supports on the other side. However, that 1 core is your mid hero on Boom's Primal Beast and the Morphling who died when he got jumped on first.
Yeah, definitely a bigger swing here for BetBoom. The fact they're able to put a whole lot of gold in the pocket of Lyle, put a whole lot of experience as well. Duracho is really starting to move this hero towards the outer edges, and once again, Tofu just getting caught out. I like what BetBoom are doing. They understand that if they can just put 2 or 3 heroes in towards this top side of the map, that it's going to take a lot of time and effort from Gaimin Gladiators to try and kick them out. They're going to have to try and commit something big like the Tombstone, maybe the Primal Split, maybe they're going to have to commit an extra hero with Boom coming in as well to try and kick them out of this spot, because they're really strong right now, right? Like the Hawk, he's got his drums up online, he's going to build towards this BKB, Lyle's able to do a whole lot of damage, and whenever they have the Rolling Thunder, they're going to be very, very scary to try and kick out of this area. So I like what BetBoom are doing, getting themselves into this clump and just kind of forcing Gaimin Gladiators to either fight them or either try and take the riskier farm on the other side of the map.
On the other side of the
City,
map,
baby.
Boom is trying to go in for this Invis rune. Roger did get there first, just triggers it immediately to get off the power cogs. So Boom is very much in search still of that BKB. And speaking of item timings, look at Notice. He's actually building different items than what we normally see on this Pangolier. Going for this Wraith patch here, Fluke. Making sure that they also have some degree of damage mitigation on their side. It will deny him having access to the Diffusal, which is usually quite good against the Morph. There'll be no Blink either. No Aghanim's Shard coming soon. But it doesn't show that the longer that these fights go, they're not going to be at a disadvantage due to having one team having Wraith Pact and them having nothing. But let's see how the smoke goes, because they want to put some gold in their coffers to get closer to these items. Ace, he's in the jungle, hasn't been scouted just yet. Now they see him, and they get the hook shot. Will they be able to bring him down in time? He's inside the power cogs. Oh no! The Rolling Thunder pushed him out of the cogs, allows him to get off the Primal Split, and that's going to end up saving his life. A game of margins is Dota 2, and this margin very favorable for Ace.
Yeah, I honestly thought they were just going to global on top of him. And I thought they were just going to try and kill him the old-fashioned way with the right clicks. But yeah, just that's the kind of catch-22 when you have this Pangolier and the Clockwork combination, right? It's the same thing with like Tusk. Like you get the bounce going, people get bounced out of these hard terrains, and it just feels really bad. At least they didn't commit the global silence. They will have that for their next team fight as well. So it's not the end of the world, but them missing out on that kill on Ace definitely feels really bad because he was extremely isolated on that bottom side of the map.
Very isolated indeed. Well, at least now they don't have to really worry about him. Now that he's committed the Brewmaster split, if they can force a fight elsewhere on the map, even if he responds, they know that they end up winning that fight regardless. Duracho is just waveformed through middle, and I think they saw him, but they haven't tried to go in for the full hook shot just yet. Right now, BetBoom slowly but surely starting to control more and more of the map. They're behind on gold overall. That's largely due to how much net worth this Morphling has been able to pick up with this Brewmaster as well. Haven't been able to leverage it in fights just yet. Now the Roshan pit occupied by the members of BetBoom. They should be able to bring the big man down. Aegis in tow for the sniper, surely. There we go. And they might still take a fight off the back of this here, Fluke. As Noticed, wants to go in with the Rolling Thunder. Remember, they know for a fact that there's no access to the Primal Split. They will be able to find the Global Silence as well. Hookshot in the meantime, able to catch Celery, prevent him from exerting influence in the midst of this fight. Celery couldn't even get off a Tombstone. That's how good and how early that hookshot came in. So they get the Roche, they get the fight, and now they're suddenly starting to take more and more control of this map.
Yeah, I think there was a beautiful teamfight execution that came in from BetBoom, right? Roger went on the secondary target of Celery, meaning that they couldn't drop the Tombstone, they couldn't try and help out the Panda, who was caught in no man's land as soon as he didn't have that Primal Split. And that was just a beautiful set of circumstances that came in there from BetBoom, right? They forced the Primal Split in the bottom side of the map. They still had their Global Silence to play around with. They understand it. They're strong. Inside of the Roche pit, it's hard for them to fight when these BKBs are not up for Gaimin Gladiators. Speaking of, oh no, they're running into Lyle. TP up,
They found Laurel. Laurel gets the damage. And, well, the corpse of Boom will be able to TP up, but not the hero himself. Tofu also gets taken down on the high ground, and Law gets a double kill out of this. Literally, the life does not get better for Law than it has in the last 90 seconds. Couple of kills onto this off-lane Brewmaster, now the mid-primal beast and the CM. On top of that, having access to the Aegis. And he's just seeing that, well, I'm still not really getting gone on for the most part, so I can afford to be a bit greedier in my itemization. Go straight for the Mjolnir. No need to stop off onto anything defensive. Easy game for Law, and he's now occupying the #1 spot on the net worth as well.
Yeah, that was kind of the issue when I was looking at this Gaimin Gladiator draft when we came through at the end there. The final pick of the Dirge, yeah. Dirge has been one of those heroes that has been kind of standing head and shoulders above a lot of the other heroes in the draft right now, but you're really relying on Boom getting in towards the back line here. Yeah, the Brewmaster can run in with the Brewlings, but if Lala's ever in a good spot to be able to peep down a few of those Brewlings, it's going to get very scary for Ace because as a Brewmaster player, as soon as your Brewlings start getting to about half HP, you get very, very scared of losing them, right? You get very, very scared of you just losing out some of these key abilities in a team fight and feeling like a bit of a wet noodle. So it's going to be hard for Ace to get this team fight going. It's going to be hard for them to get on top of Lyle, especially with this Aegis, especially now once he starts building towards the Hurricane Pike. Even if he wants to go for a defensive item, I wouldn't hate it either for Lyle. Just give you that extra bit of security where you say, even if they do get on top of me, I've got a BKB. I'm going to be perfectly fine. So BetBoom, once again, in the kind of driver's seat right now to get this game going, especially if Lala's able to stay alive in these team fights. But they definitely do start to get outscaled as this game starts to get a little bit later, so they have to be very, very careful about it not going too late.
Ooh, what will help them out, of course, Fluke, is if they can just get these kills before they even get close to that portion of the game. And they lead things off by finding this Brewmaster, bringing him down, no primal split. He does have buyback though, as Boom goes in, finds the Polarize onto Notice with the freezing field right behind him. Notice will end up being able to kill off the Crystal Maiden with the Swashbuckle, but Deracho kills him off too with the double kill. They're not done just yet. Ace came back into the fray with the buyback, looking for a way to lock down Dahak, who doesn't have access to a BKB when he lands. Will he get it off in time? Yes, he will. But there's way too much damage. He might die regardless before he goes home, and indeed he will. Deracho earning himself a triple kill off the back of this. The Morphling finally makes a statement, shows himself off in that fight, but it's not over just yet. Roger found the catch onto Celery. Now gets reinforcements from Boom, though. Be able to utilize them to kill the Clockwork instead. And this is a massive, massive fight. 4 heroes dead. You only lost 2. This is amazing if you're on the side of GG.
Yeah, Deracho really getting the bulk of that gold as well, and that's kind of the response that I wanted to see from them, right? They understand as soon as the Global Silencers come down, Ace brought back into that fight, he was able to primal split, they're able to get the catch there onto Dahak, but this is the scary part here for BetBoom, is if they overstep the mark just a little bit too much, they can get punished pretty hard by Boom and Dahak. They got the onslaught that went through 2 of the members, they got them stunned up. Tofu was strong enough to be able to at least survive a little bit longer in this team fight. Ace, he's copping a whole lot of flack towards this top lane, but I think that's going to be all it is. There's no way. Oh, he doesn't have Assassinate. Okay, Lyle has
Notice was really thinking about it. Notice was really thinking about it. Like, do I roll for this guy? You know, jump in on him, find him. It still came a lot closer than I'm sure Ace was happy with. If he got hit a couple more times with headshot, slowed down enough, then maybe they close that gap, but ultimately, I don't think they really cared about killing him. It was more about creating the space to get the tower. And they succeeded. They have gotten the tower, which opens up access to this outpost. And, you know, I love watching these perfectly timed moves, right? Where you finish getting the tower, picking up the outpost at the exact second where your Aegis expires. So now you back off into your side of the map that you know for a fact is still open because you've been pressuring GG to stay in theirs. But GG also are aware that something is afoot. Although they smoked underneath the Beastmaster Hawk, they know this is coming from BetBoom. And they still have all 3 of their tier 1 towers. They can respond to pretty much any move. But Dahak, you don't want to get blown up first, my friend. And you can be. Even with your BKB, they've demonstrated that they have the raw right click to punch through it. And this is a reveal as well on the Eye of Skadi for the Morphling. Deracho really wants to show them his displeasure at how these last few minutes of this game have been going.
Yeah, I really like the build that comes in from Deracho as well. He understands that he just needs to have that little bit of extra HP. Yeah, the Lincoln Sphere would be quite nice for them, but they have a few ways to be able to pop it, so he's just going to try and play around a lot of these extra stats as well. Interesting enough, though, from Dahak, he's going to go for the Drums of Slom. So I've only seen it a few times. Hasn't looked that great, so I don't know if this is really going to be the item build here for Dahak on this Beastmaster. I know there's a lot of Slom fans. I know Danog is a massive Slom fan, so I'm sure he's going to be super happy about seeing that in a pro game if it does get built. But Gaimin Gladiators are really getting to a point now where they're making this game feel even, right? They're putting a little bit of pressure back onto BetBoom, who are looking towards trying to just have Lyle in a good position. They are smoking without their sniper, though, into 5 heroes.
peculiar to say the least. Let's see if they end up getting punished for this one. Celery, the first person that gets seen. Roger goes in on him, but Roger dies almost immediately. Beautiful upheaval coming in from Boom. Creates a lot of space here. So Neko will at least be able to get off the global silence, as noticed. Throws out the Rolling Thunder, but it's a retreating Rolling Thunder.
Laurel.
Nobody can do much here. Laurel, he comes into the fight at long last, trying to dish out this damage, but Boom is right on top of him. Pulverized. He's held in place. Right clicks are coming in from himself and Diraicho. Can Laurel win this fight? It turns out he can. The rest of the crew come in to help him. Roger with the battery assault interrupts the TP attempt, and that allows them on the side of BetBoom to actually win this fight. They were willing to commit initial lives because they knew they had the buybacks. 2 buybacks on their supports translates into 4 kills on the other side. And BetBoom announced themselves on their side of the map, with Law coming in to finish up the job at the end.
Yeah, 5.6k damage from that team fight from Lyle. As soon as that team fight broke out, he TP'd towards the tier 2 tower, and he was in the perfect position to just kind of lay down a lot of this shrapnel extra fire, right? He's just able to sit back, get the auto attacks going. Gaimin Gladiators, so they did a really, really good job at turning their attention directly on towards the sniper. We see here Roger instantly goes down, instantly bites back onto the clockwork. They forced the global at this awkward spot, and I thought this was going to be a really good time for Gaimin Gladiators to get this disconnect, right? They stay around for a little bit longer. They understand where Lyle is. They want to see if they can get these extra kills, and then the hook shot comes in finally from Roger. And Lyle, he just understood that he has to kind of stand and fight, and we saw this from Diraicho in the last game, that sometimes you just got to stand and man fight, and it's exactly what he was able to do, and then they eventually get the kill on Diraicho. So BetBoom winning that team fight there by being able to take down Diraicho is a big little checkbox for them, and the fact that Lyle survived throughout the entirety of that moves him towards his BKB. He's got his BKB now. He'll have the Aghanim shard as well for the concussive grenade, so it just means that he's able to have a little bit more of this kite ability around in the fight, be able to move himself into good positions where he doesn't have to worry about this primal beast.
I mean, he's not just going to have this maneuver ability, he's about to get survivability as well, as they pick up the second Aegis of the game. They grant him the shot as well, so he can save money on buying the concussive grenade. They'll just get that automatically now. So Gaimin Gladiators, things were starting to look good a little bit, but Laurel, the sniper, really is getting out of hand. And unfortunately, just given the way that these fights have all been breaking out, Laurel is so rarely there at the beginning of proceedings that they can't afford to just sit there and be like, well, we won't commit spells until we see the sniper. We still have to use these spells to win the team fight. And now another fight might be breaking out here. Roger looking for the angle. 1 second away from actually interrupting the primal split from Ace. If he hook shots 1 second earlier, literally one, they've already gotten a Brewmaster kill by this point, most likely. Whew. However, on the bright side, that does mean they had to commit both Brewmaster split and the BKB of Boom to survive that initiation. So BetBoom can still try and chase this one. Laurel looking for an option with the Blink Dagger to come up the high ground. Celery, he's the one that's caught. Already taking quite a bit of damage. They have to deal with the Tombstone though, placed on the high ground. Diraicho just going to stand nearby in case anybody dares come up the hill, but also recognizing that this is maybe not where I want to actually die. A hill that I will allow them to take. And GG, they're still on the retreat here, Fluke. BetBoom looking for the chase. Hook shot coming in from Roger. He finds Boom, but unfortunately there's an immediate freezing field right next to him. Global silence will buy him space, and there's the primal roar. It's onto Diraicho. He didn't get the strength morph off. He didn't get off the morph. He's dead. He's gone. Oh my god. And Manta style was on cooldown as well. Worst time for him to ever get caught. Boom trying to run north of the fight right now. As Celery, at the very least, able to clean up Roger on the south side of the fight. But Boom gets corralled inside the tree line, brought down there as well. That's the secondary core dead in this fight. And Gaimin Gladiators, slowly but surely, starting to run out of options. Ace, we've seen him commit the full primal split, but it feels like it's also been a while since that split has been effective, Fluke. The Brewmaster is starting to fall off pretty hard, and Gaimin Gladiators have nothing else to cover for him.
Yeah, it really feels like it's getting to the point now where Gaimin Gladiators, they kind of have to outplay BetBoom at this point. They've always got the Global Silence to be able to protect the sniper in any of these team fights. The Global Silence was at a perfect time there from Soniqs, and then Diraicho just kind of walked in, maybe thinking that the primal roll was on cooldown coming in from the Hawk, because it was used in a previous fight, but it's a very, very low cooldown. It's only 80 seconds, so Diraicho just walked in, didn't have the Manta style to get away from the silence, and gets roared and gets killed. So now it's at a point where BetBoom, they've got everything in front of them, right? They understand exactly how they need to play this game. Lyle just needs to sit in the back line, needs to peep away. They just need to try and outplay Jiracho, who, once again, is going to do a whole lot of damage here for Gaimin Gladiators, and they just haven't been able to get these team fights going in their own way here. And Snare, I mean, we talked about it in game number 1, where it feels like you win the lane and then you lose the game for both these two teams. So maybe we're looking towards BetBoom and getting this one at 1-1.
Win lane,
It's sad.
lose game. This is pretty much my pubs, man. Every game. Looks so nice early, and then what happened, boys? But in this game, we know exactly what happened. Laurel just got a little bit too strong. This Wraith pack they've been struggling to deal with from Notice, but the thing that's really happened is that Roger's hook shots have been superb, and nobody on Gaimin Gladiators can match that degree of dynamism he's been providing for his squad. The smoke, unfortunately, for GG doesn't end up going anywhere, and Diracho will just end up right-clicking the tier 1 tower. They're actually going to smoke themselves now on the side of BetBoom. They're the ones that still have access to this young Aegis of the Immortal for another minute or so, so they'd love to find a fight. They come across Ace. Ace does have Blink, but he's just used it. I honestly think that Noticed wouldn't believe that the Brewmaster had already blinked. The only reason he doesn't jump him is like, this guy surely still has Blink, right? Otherwise, if he had any idea that Blink was just used, we'd probably be seeing a dead Ace right now.
Yeah, definitely would have been a bit of a spooky fight, but they're going to commit it now. They've got the Rolling Thunder coming through. Lyle is leading the charge on a sniper. It's not usually what you like to see, and now Notice eventually does find it Celery. So they're going to at least get one out of this. The hook shot goes wide as well. So catching out Celery there is exactly what they needed to do, and now BetBoom can just kind of take control of this top side of the map as well. They don't really have an objective for them to take top or mid, so I'd like to see them just push this out a couple of waves and then make their way towards bottom.
Even if they just force a response or two from the side of GG, that still ends up being a win for them. GG are desperately trying right now. We saw last game that there were points where BetBoom was doing a phenomenal job of controlling the map. We're still seeing that same characteristic. Their ability to keep these waves pushed in at all times, really, really good. It's one thing if you're doing it from behind, as we saw in the latter portions of game number 1, but in this situation, they're doing it from a very, very far ahead. 10k net worth lead in their favor. We have a 84% win probability. Damn! And a 6 level advantage for them. That's quite a lot. It's not 96 just yet. So, you know, the game could still go anyway, but certainly must feel quite good to be BetBoom in this situation.
Yeah, definitely feeling like that, you know, Dota Plus likes to lean towards these hard hyper carries, you know, like the Morphling being able to do some special stuff. Slom is online though, Snap. We do have the drums of Slom, so it is ready to be able to be used. Hark was using it in a creep wave a little bit beforehand. Not quite sure if this is still actually the item to be able to be picked up. Would have loved to have seen something like a Blink Dagger, but hey, at the end of the day, as we always say, these guys are pro players, and I'm sitting here in a chair talking about their game. So there's going to be a reason behind this drums of Slom, so I want to see what Hark's able to do in these team fights. Can do a decent amount of damage as well, and I think the heal just kind of makes it hard for them to deal damage in combination with the Wraith pack that comes in from Noticed as well. So it's very hard for them to deal a lot of damage, very hard for them to try and burst these heroes down, and now this extra bit of damage as well is going to be hard for them to deal with. But they're just going to take the tier 3 tower here and just put the pressure back on a Gaimin Gladiators and say, hey, we don't have the Aegis anymore. You guys want to come team fight us? Then here's Lyle on a silver platter. Oh, grenades to the high ground?
Grenades forward. That's a man with no fear. Boom is coming in with the onslaught, comes onto him, but the BKB with the primal roar back. Boom is already gone. It's a bait indeed. Global silence now gets committed as Diracho shows up to the fight with the BKB active. Needs to watch himself though. Once BKB finishes, he's in grave danger. Celery almost died. Heads up to the damage from Noticed. Will be finished off by the rocket flare from Roger. With 2 heroes gone, only one of whom have buyback. How will they be able to go about this one? Diracho taking some damage. We saw in the midst of that fight as well, the Hawk beating on the drums of Slom. That's more important than the damage, more important than any of the radius heal. It's all about the motivation, Fluke. Play some music for your homies as y'all are going high ground. It's some war drums going on as Ace gets hookshotted into by Roger. He's on the edge of the trees outside of any ability of using the primal split as he has already committed it in the last fight. They're going to just try to buy space and time, and the fortification will successfully do so as Boom respawns in tandem with Celery. And BetBoom, they don't get more than a tier 3 tower and a team fight win, but They're also in no rush. They know that Morphling is the only realistic threat to LoL at any stage of this game, and you have half a draft custom designed to ensure that the Morphling can never get there. So you're still okay with how things are going.
Yeah, definitely feeling pretty good about how this game is going here for LoL. The fact that he concussive grenades himself to the high ground, baits them, clicks the BKB, and says, boom, I'm sorry, buddy, you've come to the wrong neighborhood. And he just blew his head off, and then that was all it wrote for the remainder of the team fight. Dahak, though, in that team fight, he did a grand total of 400 damage with the drum. So 400 damage. Yeah, for 4,000 gold, it's probably not the best, especially there's a bit of combination of some of his creeps going in there and auto-attacking, and I'd imagine a few whirling axes waiting in there as well. So it's, as you said, it's more motivation than anything else, especially motivating his team to be able to get 1-1 here. You want to start out your TI group stages with at least a win underneath your belt, and if they're able to do it this time around, that's going to put them in a good stead. Dyrachyo, though, getting ever closer towards this Aghanim Scepter. So if he's able to, much like he has in these most recent fights, be able to turn in towards the sniper, get that attack speed steal, then maybe they're able to get in on top of him, but they just don't have that kind of instant initiation like they would with something like a Tidehunter or one of these heroes that's able to just get directly on top of the sniper and blow him up. They have to come in with the onslaught, and by that time, I'd imagine Lal is going to be able to click his BKB, and then Dyrachyo has got everything in front of him. Double smoke on smoke action, though. 10 heroes under the guys.
They're wrapping around each other. BetBoom just had the high ground on Radiant side by the triangle. GG just had high ground on Dire. So they just swap sides a little bit here. Dahak happy to just commit the Gem of True Sight for the D-Ward. BetBoom, how will they come back onto this high ground? The approach is a little bit complicated. The courier being moved over the area also reveals where they are. Jump up, right, Ace? We'll be able to find a 2-hero clap. Onslaught going forward. They get off these BKBs like you mentioned, and whoo! Boom! Poor Boom just gets destroyed, and now there's a global silence. Dyrachyo is also in a little bit of danger. He's trying to morph himself to safety. With the BKB active, can they kill Laurel? Brewmaster able to split, as there's a buyback as well from Boom. And Boom assists with getting a kill onto the sniper, and now they turn their attention towards Noticed as well. So Neko, there's no global silence to cover him, so Boom gets a double kill with the Pulverize off the back of him. And BetBoom all of a sudden have ended up losing 3. Gaimin Gladiators, they took the risky fight, they took the risky smoke. Boom, it's like you said, once you go in at the onslaught, they will be able to get off these BKBs 100%, but that also means you can bait those BKBs, buy back, and still win the subsequent fight.
Yeah, that was big, a fight there for Gaimin Gladiators. They went in, Boom soaked literally everything. He soaked the Primal Roar. There was a very interesting moment there for Dyrachyo. He got booped by the Rolling Thunder as he was waveforming in before he got the BKB off, so it was a little bit spicy for them. But as soon as the Primal Roar got soaked up there from Boom, he brought back instantly into the team fight. And then Dyrachyo doesn't have to worry about anything, right? He's already able to get away from the Global Silence with his BKB, and then he just turns into the sniper, and we see what this Aghanim Scepter is able to do. He does so much damage in these team fights, and it get to a point there where Lal just had to spend all of his time kiting around. He had to force out down to the low ground, he had a concussive grenade himself away, and if you're spending more time running away as the sniper than you are dealing damage, then it just means that Morphling's able to do whatever he wants in these team fights, and now it's in a really good spot here for Gaimin Gladiators, because if they're the ones that are getting this initiation, if they're the ones that are running towards BetBoom, they don't have this positioning and spacing that they want to have, right? They want to have their sniper in the back, they want to have this Rolling Thunder going forward, they want to have Dahak beating his drums and being in front of everybody's faces. And if they don't get that, then Gaimin Gladiators are the one that's going to be on top. So I think it's all about initiation for these next couple of minutes.
Well, initiation has just been thrown in onto Celery right now. The Undying is still alive. Notice, trying to help kill him as well. Boom goes in with his BKB. Dyrachyo with BKB as well. They turn their attention onto Roger and demolish him during the pulverized duration. Ace taking damage. He will die during the duration of Global Silence. Has no buyback available either. Dyrachyo gets himself out of the Global. He's gone forward. The Primal Roar will be there. But now suddenly they have to try and run away. Boom, though, taking so much damage from Law, who will be able to find a double kill. Without BKBs, both of these lineups just feel so fragile. No Bash, unfortunately, coming in from Notice when he tried to cancel out the TP of the Morphling. Will not be able to do so on Tofu either. So that's 2 core heroes that Gaimin Gladiators end up losing here. And BetBoom, despite a slight resurgence in these last few minutes on the side of Gaimin Gladiators, that fight demonstrates that there's a reason they have this 10k net worth lead. When they're the ones that can control the positioning of the fight, and especially can control where the sniper is, whoo, you're in for a rough team fight.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, right? Between both these two teams, it's all about trying to figure out where this sniper is going to be in these team fights. Dyrachyo does a really good job at kiting around and doing a lot of damage himself, but he hasn't been able to burst through any of these heroes. You see what happens when the hookshot comes through. Roger has this Aghanim Scepter as well, so he's able to have that overclock come in and do a whole lot of work with these extra, changes to his spells when he's able to get in on top of a lot of people. And we just saw the issues that Boom is having here on the Primal Beast, right? He's having such a hard time trying to get in towards these team fights because he just can't survive from this sniper who's got an MKB, has a Skadi, has a Mjolnir as well. So Lyle does a whole boatload of damage, and now having his own Hurricane Pike, like, it's getting towards the latter stages of this game where Lyle is just going to be able to stand his ground and kind of deal with the Morphling, and it's really just going to turn into a carry versus carry matchup, and it's probably going to be the tale of TI here, Snare. I really feel like a lot of these carry players, I know there's a lot of pressure on their shoulders, but if we see these teams stand taller, I think it's going to definitely be on the back of either their mid players or their carry players.
The tale of TI. Have these core players just putting these games on their back no matter what. I mean, this game is also a perfect example of that. Between Dyrachyo and Boom, they have done everything just to make this game still playable for the side of Gaimin Gladiators. We saw in game number 1 that BetBoom were able to amass a significant lead, just weren't able to close it out. This time around, they have the kind of heroes that can close it out, but they're playing with understandable caution after the events of game number 1. But they're getting closer and closer. All they really need, I think, to feel more safe is going to be probably the next Roche. So we're in for a bit of a wait here. 90 seconds until the Aegis expires. Another 5 to 8 minutes before the big man is back. So take it easy. Take your shoes off. I don't think Gaimin Gladiators are going to try and end the game before that point either. Because Dyrachyo certainly wants his Daedalus. Because he also knows on this Morphling that he's getting to that point where if he's ever able to just look at the sniper once he gets the Daedalus, then the sniper will just die, no matter how strong Lal actually is in this game. So you were just talking about it now. These carry versus carries. These matchups going to be the tail of the tape for so many of these games. And right now, Gaimin Gladiators playing with a bit more advanced positioning because they still have this Aegis. But the question is, will we see yet another Aegis expiring into an immediate smoke from BetBoom to try and click a fight right afterwards?
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be what they're looking towards right now. They understand there's only 40 seconds left to go here on Dyrachyo as well. They don't want to try and give any more space to Boom either. Has a very rough game here on the Primal Beast. He's only just now being able to move towards his second item after this Kaya and Sanj. And if he gets that Aghanim Scepter up, it's going to be able to alleviate a little bit of pressure from him, but it's just so much extra net worth on some of these other core heroes when you're looking across. Dahak, he's sitting at 19k net worth as a smoke now as well. They're biding their time here, Snare. 15 seconds. They're probably going to make this initiation when there's roughly about 1 to 2 seconds to go here, and they're sitting back and just holding off on this tier 2 tower. But Gaimin Gladiators, they know that as well, right? They know that as soon as this Aegis gets timed out, they're going to get gone on, so they want to try and be in a better position as well.
Shout out to Ace, who was able to position in the trees and pop the smokes of both Noticed and Roger, preventing them from having the clean space to initiate here. Aegis has now officially expired. They did not manage to claim the tier 1 tower in this mid lane. Yeah, Rax are going down in this bottom lane, and it's a double siege wagon wave. They have to decide if they want to fight, and they have to decide right the hell now. Roger, he decides for them, gets the hook shot going. There's the global silence. They really want to kill Ace. They want to prevent the Brewmaster getting off the split, and they've done so successfully. Dyrachyo, though, trying to go up onto the high ground with Boom as Boom. He found Sniper, got off the pulverize, and they have enough damage to bring down the little man. 1 for 1 in this fight. They're trying to get out with Dahak's Beastmaster. They'll be able to do so. Clockwork will be able to jump out as well. Regrettably, though, Silencer will not be as lucky. At the same time, though, down bottom, Gaimin Gladiators, though they took the fight here in the Radiant Triangle, they ended up losing a lane of Rax. Both melee and ranged are gone here, Fluke. So who is happier with the proceedings of not be as lucky? At the same time, though, down bottom, Gaimin Gladiators, though they took the fight here in the Radiant Triangle, they ended up losing a lane of Rax. Both melee and ranged are gone here, Fluke. So who is happier with the proceedings of these last 90 seconds?
I think they're definitely happy that they killed off Lyle there on the sniper for Gaimin Gladiators, but losing that lane of Rax bottom, it just adds that extra layer, right? As we start getting later and later into these games, it's 42 minutes right now, you're starting to think about how these games need to be played out, and that's where, Gaimin Gladiators, they decided to take this fight. You see here, Lyle's on the low ground. He's on the low ground standing in front of Duraccio, and as soon as Boom understands that these concussive grenade and the Hurricane Pike are on cooldown, he instantly onslaughts on top of him. And as soon as there's any combination of this Primal Beast getting on top of the sniper, he's going to be dead. And Duraccio and the boys of Gaimin Gladiator played really, really well in that team fight. And now it's starting to get spooky again, right? It feels like all of these team fights are going to be oh so important to be able to have that good positioning. If Gaimin Gladiators are able to put Duraccio in a really good position, if BetBoom are able to just kind of have this front wall for Lyle to play around with and kite around, then they're going to be in a really good position. But we're getting in the latter stages here, and the map control is definitely starting to feel a little bit better here for BetBoom. Oh, what a hook shot.
Oh my goodness, that hook shot. Well, Celery's out. Going to be giving away some free intelligence towards Soniqs. Tofu going to be part of that club as well. The Hawk happy to be able to be in part of this killing spree. Mostly they're just happy to be buying time, forcing GG to be playing on the other side of the map. And I mean, if they can force another lane of Rax out of this, this could be pretty incredible. Got a decent push coming through this mid wave. Notice making sure to clean up the wave. They still have their flag bearer with them as well. It's starting to feel a bit dangerous. Duraccio is here. Doesn't have access to this Aegis of the Immortal though. Lol and the crew are en route. They are coming. They want to do as much as they can. They have a cliff as well if they really want to commit it on the next wave to come in. Soniqs, first one to post up on this high ground. Yeah, man. Do what you gotta do, Soniqs. Show them that 18 damage. Or that 18 intelligence. Show them exactly where it's going.
What a giga shot.
Forced out the cliff. Hook shot. They're going on to Duraccio. He didn't get off the strength morph either. Duraccio's in a little bit of danger. But space and time was bought. Global Silence will be coming out right now. Jump in from Duraccio as he's stolen that cyber form. They really want to Hawk. Ace popping the primal split here. It's only a short duration BKB though, so he needs to be very careful. Need to go refresh. BKB and slum again. BKB, slum again. He can't slum. He is gonna get brought down by the right-click damage of Duraccio with this Chrysalis, Daedalus, the upgraded crit stick. Oh my goodness. And they, more importantly, also defended the lane of Rax in this mid lane, not losing out on anything, punishing BetBoom, and now suddenly playing on the other side of the map.
The thing that we didn't catch in that team fight was the rock throw that came in from Boom. It hit onto Dahak before he was coming in. He has the Ag Shard on the Primal Beast. The rock throw connected onto the Beastmaster as he was walking into Raw onto Duraccio. If they got that double Raw off with the Refresher and the BKB, that probably would have been a team fight for BetBoom. But Boom just throwing the rock, getting that clutch little stun, and now they're the ones with the Aegis. They've got the Refresher, they've got the Awaken Setter, they've got literally everything they want here for Gaimin Gladiators, and all it took was a tiny little rock. All it took was just that little bit of extra something that comes in from Gaimin Gladiators. This is what we talked about. These games are going to be determined by very, very small factors. This Rax on the bottom side of the map, it's permanently what Gaimin Gladiators are going to have to think about, right? They have to keep this bottom lane pushed out all the time when they want to try and aggress on the map. But also at the same time, BetBoom, that's an avenue for them to try and put a little bit extra pressure on them. They can force out this bottom side of the map. They go on to Gaimin Gladiators when somebody is trying to respond towards this bottom lane. So there's still a way in here for BetBoom. They just need to clean it up just a little bit here. They just need to have that little bit of crisp, extra bit of initiation that goes their way, and they can really pull this one back. But Gaimin Gladiators, they know that they're on the front foot here, Snare. They can sniff it. They can get this 2-0, start off their group stage. This is the perfect way they want to.
Just like game number 1, Duraccio and the boys are now in charge of the net worth lead. For the first time pretty much all game, they're in charge of the experience lead, and the win probability is trending in their favor. They've just taken a tier 2 tower. They need to be careful though. Clockwork just picked up a BKB, but that also means he doesn't have buyback. The only buybacks we have available right now are from Duraccio, Lol, Noticed, Celery, and Tofu. But for BetBoom, they are very, very scant on these buybacks. Only the 2 remaining. So need to be careful about these upcoming fights. I'm still worried about this Aegis. This is Roche number 4. I wonder, Fluke, how many do you think is going to be the most in a solitary game here at TI? But surely this is the most we've had so far, right?
Yeah, I think this has been so far. You know, the fact that, usually when you see a team is able to get, 1 or 2 Roshans, the game kind of ends at this point. But the fact that I was looking at the win probability and it was literally even Stevens. It's now 51-49 going the way of BetBoom. So it's kind of crazy that this game is on a nice edge, and it's probably going to get to the point. I feel like this is going to go the distance unless we see a bit of kind of mistakes that come in from either one of these two teams. If BetBoom over-aggress a little bit, aren't able to secure a kill onto any one of these heroes, if Gaimin Gladiators just force it a little bit too hard without kind of getting their lanes in order, getting their ideas, and really kind of making this a clean and concise victory, that this game can definitely go, but either way, man. Like, obviously, I'm going to be siding with the Dota Plus win probability 95% of the time because I feel like it's almost never wrong. But the way that it's sitting right now, either one of these two teams can take it. All it takes is a really good team fight. We've seen how well Roger's been able to initiate with these hook shots, and now being able to get so much of this extra bit of vision with the triple rocket flare from the overclocking, that it just means that these team fights are just going to come down to these very, very small things. Can Roger initiate onto Celery? Can he force Duraccio into a bad position using his BKB? His global silence going to be huge. What does Ace do with the primal split? How does Boom get on top of the sniper? There's so many small things here, Snare, that's going to be able to push this team fight, push this game one way or another.
One way or another, we will have a winner in game 1. Dota Plus, at some point, they told us that it was 96% chance in favor of BetBoom, but Gaimin Gladiators took a hold of that 4%. So in a game that is literally 100% balanced by every metric, who knows what's going to happen. Morphling's not here. Morphling's not here. Ace is getting gone on immediately. He has the Aeon Disc, but even that might not save him. Global Silence will be there, and Law hits him from screens away, and is certainly able to kill him. Oh my goodness, they read them perfectly. The moment Diracho showed in the top lane, BetBoom are outside of the base, forcing a fight. And now here they come back though. They might have been a debate as Boom, he's gone forward right now. Lon is very far away. Soneko, no access to another global silence. Does Hex up. Where did the Hex come from, Soneko? Is he laundering money while we're not watching? Either way, he gets himself access to the sheepstick. Just buys time onto Diracho. I don't think he cares that much about dying. They force a buyback from Undying. But mainly, the most important thing, Fluke, is they waste the duration of this Aegis. With only 45 seconds left to go, I don't think they're going to try and force a high ground push. They might kill Roger off the back of this, unless he can TP out. Yeah, he's fine. He has BKB. He can't get adaptive, so he's fine.
Yep, nice little hook shot there from Roger. There was a buyback, as you said, that came in there from Celery, so the Undying's not going to have the buyback for this next couple of fights. But exactly as you said, like this game is a game of inches, and that's what BetBoom did. They were given an inch in the top lane. They saw that Duraccio decided to TP towards the top. They said, all right, it's our go time. They went directly in onto Boom. They went directly into Celery. They got the kills straight away, and they just forced a whole lot out of them. Yeah, they didn't really get all too much out of it, but wasting the Aegis, not losing their high ground, getting a team fight victory is exactly what you want. You got a few buybacks coming out of Gaimin Gladiators as well. You got a little bit of extra damage. You didn't lose all too many important heroes for the side of BetBoom either. For some reason, somehow, Soneko has a Hex here on the silencer. Not quite sure where he pulled that one from, but it's working out well. And this is where it starts getting towards this latter stages of Dota, and everyone's been in this position, right? It's 50 minutes in, starting to get towards 60 minutes. You don't know what really is going to be the best play, and all it takes is one of those big kills, one of those big plays, and one of these two teams is going to be able to come out on top, and this is where it really starts getting scary, and where you've got to kind of steal your nerve. This is a TI game here, Stan. This is a TI group stage game, and they need to stand tall.
Oh, it's a TI hook shot coming in from Roger there as there will be a global silence. Diracho going in onto Soneko. He commits both waveforms forward. Not able to kill him. So there's the primal roar. He might have overextended for this. Diracho gets bashed up with the Abyssal. They have the stun lock, but they just don't have the damage just yet. Even with the crit stick, unfortunately, Lal now in danger. He's been pulverized up by Boom. He will end up dying. No, he's not. The 4-star's back with the concussive grenade. Keep him alive for now. Tofu try to finish him off with the frostbite, but just not enough damage. Fortunately for them, though, Ace and Boom do have enough as they go in on the reinitiation and they get the kill. Lal forced to buy back. A couple of right clicks later, he's killed the Crystal Maiden. And Roger hook shots back in onto Celery. Probably ends up dying for this one. Does have buyback, though. Needs to commit it almost instantly. Unfortunately, this Morphling Might not
Diracho.
have any protection anymore. The Primal Roar will be there. But space is being bought by Boom. Abyssal Blade back onto this Primal Beast. Primal Beast gets off the Pulverize. He really wants Notice. Not going to be able to find him. At the same time, Sniper now surrounded by Diracho and Ace. Kept alive somehow with the Trickster Cloak. He will be able to escape slowly but surely, but unfortunately Diracho will eventually have the damage. Waveforms through him, kills him off as well. 2 minutes in the grave, no buyback for the Sniper. Dahak forced to buy back as well. Has Primal Roar at the ready. But without the Sniper being alive, you can roar Diracho as much as you want. It will make no damn difference. And now it's GG. They're the side roaring in happiness, roaring in adulation, about to claim a 2-0 win over the side of BetBoom. They're going in for one last hurrah. The rock throw coming in from the Primal Beast. Diracho, he's on top of them, taking some damage, but who the hell cares? He knows he's not going to die. Global Silence will buy some space and time here. So Dahak and the crew, not dead just yet. They're actually just going to pivot towards the top lane. They want the 4 megas. Notice, not so sure what you can do about this, my friend. 15 seconds until he has access again to the Rolling Thunder. By the time that's up, Sniper will still be a whole 45 seconds away from respawning. And he's just throwing rocks at them, man. Boom is just like, eat this, eat this, eat this, eat this. That's a second lane of racks. It's damn near megas, but they don't need the megas here, Fluke. How on earth can they hold from this position? Tier 4s are falling. There's a Primal Roar just for posterity's sake, but it's not really going to matter. Hex up, though. Okay, Ace is going to die. He has buyback, though. Soneko dies as well. Here comes Diracho inside of the fountain. Dahak is going to die. Diracho fountain farming them. He gets a triple kill. Doesn't even lose half of his HP in the process. And with all of BetBoom being dead, all their hopes being shattered, they will throw in the towel, call GG, and grant Gaimin Gladiators the win in game number 2, allowing them to sweep their first series with a 2-0 victory.
Oh man, what a sick series that came in there between Gaimin Gladiator and BetBoom. It was so back and forth between both these two teams. It just felt like that entire game was on a knife's edge. There was moments there where BetBoom were ahead. There was moments there where Gaimin Gladiators were ahead. But I think this kind of just circles back to everything that we said, right? This morph